What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Dynasty Pros Fantasy Show, brought to you by DynastyProsFootball.com. Bob Miller here, Tommy Harvey over there. Hey, make sure you go check us out at DynastyProsFootball.com for all of our latest rankings and trade values and all that good stuff. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube. Helps us out a bunch. So now that we got all that out of the way, Tommy, man, what is going on? What a crazy, crazy week one. Overreactions, and you had crazy, crazy disappointments and people that just blew up. I mean, what a week one we had.
Yeah, I'm quite disappointed at the moment, but
yeah, you being a Cowboys fan, I don't
seems
blame
to be the
you,
life,
man.
I guess.
Yeah, that's just awful. So unfortunate with Dak.
I mean,
I've got him in a league.
That's a different rant for a different time, I guess. But
no, we're all here. We're in a safe place. You're in the trust tree here, so you can let it out. No, it's just really, really unfortunate for Dak, and I know you being a big Cowboys fan, and just golly, just what an awful situation. They played like crap. The only team I think in week one that didn't score a touchdown.
Yep.
And then add the insult to injury, man. You know, you've got Dak that's out. Well, luckily he's not out for the season. I guess it could be worse. It's the Cooper Rush era starting, I suppose.
Here's my question to everybody: What did everybody expect?
What do you mean?
I mean, Jerry Jones did absolutely nothing in the offseason to improve the team. Did nothing. He allowed wide receivers to walk away. Didn't bring anybody in to quote unquote replace them. Nobody that was worth anything anyways. Allowed Amari Cooper, trade away Amari Cooper for basically nothing.
Yeah.
He at least was a focal point for other defenses. You allow Cedric Wilson to walk away. You bring in James Washington. He immediately gets hurt. You don't replace him. Michael Gallup's already hurt, coming off an ACL injury. You draft Jalen Tolbert in the third round. He was inactive last night. So it's CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz. And nothing else. Nothing. The offensive line is terrible. Everybody says Zeke is overpaid. Well, guess what? He's the only one out there blocking in pass protection. Tony Pollard sucks in pass pro. Zeke is worth every penny just because of what he gives you in pass protection.
Yeah.
So what did everybody expect was going to happen? Jerry Jones has run this team into the ground.
Is that it? Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
You feel better?
No, but at least I said it.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of letting Amari Cooper go, but I kind of understand why. He's making quite a bit of money. I don't know if they brought back the right wide receiver. I mean, Michael Gallup being hurt, and you got guys out there catching balls that you've never even heard of. So, yeah, that was kind of rough. That had to be tough for you to watch that. I feel so bad for that.
That's not going to get any better. It wouldn't have gotten any better even if Dak was healthy and playing.
I think so. I think it would have gotten a little bit better. Listen, a lot of these guys are not playing in the preseason. And so they need week one to kind of iron out the kinks, in my opinion. It's a long season. I think that they'll get better. They'll get things worked out, but they took a huge step back, and it's going to be a rough ride for the next couple of months for Dallas fans, to say the least.
Well, a team that should have been a Super Bowl contender last season was basically stripped to the nuts and bolts on offense this year. And so now they're basically nothing.
All right, well, let's move on. Because, that is unfortunate. I can't stand it. I hate seeing injuries, and there was so many of them. This week one, me being a Baltimore fan, we lost a couple players for the rest of the year. Juwan James, that just broke my heart. The guy's been working for a year and a half to get back and nurse that Achilles injury that he had, and he came back full strength. And by golly, if the guy he didn't even make it through the first half of week one without popping that Achilles again. And gosh, that just breaks my heart to see someone put that much work and effort to get back, and then something like that happen, and then them losing Kyle Fuller, the cornerback, which really, really upset me because it was an offensive pass interference call where the receiver literally pushed off in the end zone off of Kyle Fuller, and he landed on his leg, kind of bent his knee when he got pushed off, tore his ACL, and he's out for the season. So, you hate seeing that. Yeah. Speaking of which, I know one of the big things, it's a little old news now, for anyone that's watching us, but TJ Watt tore his pec, went to go see get a couple of different opinions where a lot of folks thought he was out for the season. Looks like, he's only going to be out for about 6 weeks. So that's good for all of our IDP players. I know we got a huge IDP following. Tommy, you and I both own our fair shares of TJ Watt, and he is the overall number one cheat code in all of IDP, and it sucks for your fantasy team to be without him, but I'm happy for TJ that he's not going to miss the entire season. Something about those Watt guys that they can just nurse those wounds a lot quicker than other people. So
he was so dominant on Sunday too. Just anything he wanted to do, he did.
Dude, what he scored in our fantasy leagues, 27 fantasy points.
Yeah,
I think it was 27. I've got him in one of our dynasty leagues and was playing against you in that league, and then you had him in another one of our dynasty leagues playing against me.
Yep. That interception he had was filthy.
Oh, it was, but that's TJ Watt, man. I mean, he's a special guy. Yep. He's a special player. So I'm really excited to see him get back after, he's going to miss a month and a half, and it's not a lost cause. So definitely we have to go hit those waiver wires and get a replacement tight end or a defensive end, and Alex Highsmith is a name to really look at. Yep. If you're a TJ Watt owner. Moving on, another one that hurts me and probably hurts a lot of our followers out there, man. Keenan Allen looks like he's unlikely to play on Thursday. And that's a big thing. It's a huge game with the Chargers and Chiefs, and now he's going to be missing that game. So Mike Williams was a little bit of a disappointment. I don't want to jump the gun there. However, I think Mike Williams would be a great play. He's going to be the go-to guy on offense.
Keenan Allen, was that a hamstring?
Yes. Yeah, it was a hammy. I think he had an MRI yesterday. I think
those can linger too.
What's that?
Those hamstring injuries can linger for a while.
They can. That's the reason why I think that's the reason why they're going to set him this week. Just live to fight another day. Let's not hurt him anymore. Let's let him rest that thing up and let him heal, and see what week 3. Play Thursday night football. You've got almost a week and a half for these guys to recover, so he might be able to come back week 3. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe hold him out maybe one more week after this one and really come back strong on week 4. That's a best case I could imagine there. So yeah, if you've got him in some fantasy leagues, make sure you're benching him tomorrow, because those Thursday night games certainly sneak up on you. So make sure you get him on your bench and pop somebody in there, and we'll go over a few waiver wire targets for you guys a little later on in the show to pick up that you can pop in there for him. What's another thing, Tommy? What's some other NFL news going on out there?
Looks like Elijah Mitchell's going to be out for a couple months with a sprained MCL. So that
unfortunate.
He's always going to be one of those guys.
I agree.
You're always going to have to kind of watch it with him. I wouldn't draft him as any more than your RB3, just because stuff like this is always going to happen to him.
Yeah, you can't fool with this guy. I think he's gonna be a headache, and in that San Francisco backfield's already a headache.
Yep.
So now we've got to figure out this whole thing and who to go pick up off the waiver wire to replace him if you're a Mitchell owner. We'll go over that here in a few minutes as well.
Yep.
Totally stinks.
Then you got
Mac Jones. He's got some back little, coming out a little ginger. He's got some spasms and pulls and tugs or whatever's going on with his back. But he had some tests done and everything checked out fine. So dodged a bullet there. I don't know how many people are starting Mac Jones outside of a super flex league, but that could have been a lot worse. So thank goodness he's not out. Patriots placed Ty Montgomery on the injury reserve. Dude, I mean, he put up a nice little fantasy week. Like over 10 points.
Yeah. You would think this has to be good news for Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson owners, though.
Huge. I mean, I think it's big for them because I think they were obviously disappointments week one, but that whole Patriots team really was.
Yeah.
So yeah, this ought to be. This will be good for Stevenson and Harris owners. Obviously, there. I was sitting here reading about it real quick. I mean, it's just a knee injury. I don't know if it's an ACL, what it is. I haven't done any real big time research on it, but yeah, just that stinks. And another week one injury. Gosh. And then, speaking of the 49ers with this Elijah Mitchell, man, they worked out a lot of running backs. Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman, a few guys, and ended up signing, I believe they signed, who was it? Marlon Mack. They signed Marlon Mack to their practice squad. So that's someone to kind of keep an eye on. I mean, not that he's great, any good, but he's going to probably get some touches.
He's a warm body.
Exactly. I mean, they have no other choice. I mean, Jeff Wilson and Marlon Mack. Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, well, and Tyrion Davis-Price wasn't even active this past week. They acted. Who was it? Jordan Mason.
Yeah. Davis-Price is still a name to look at. I mean, no one was looking at Elijah Mitchell this time last year, and then week one, boom, blew up. He's the biggest, waiver wire ad week one. So I think Jeffrey Wilson's going to be probably the biggest waiver wire ad for tomorrow. So and rightfully so. I mean, with that running attack, he'll definitely bring you some value. I can't imagine Marlon Mack being a starter. So Jeff Wilson knows that offense, and I think he'll be the guy there. Colts released Rodrigo Blankenship today. It's kind of sad,
You gonna miss goggles?
Yeah, man. Pretty cool kicker. I know you hate kickers, but he missed. He had a couple of bad kickoffs, and he missed missed one in overtime Sunday. And yeah, man, they're done. I mean, he missed a 42-yard field goal.
Here you go. Not only do I not like him because he's a kicker, he was also a Georgia Bulldog, so I really don't like him.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, so I can't think of anything else really, really fantasy relevant that I would jump all over right now. So let's move on to like some of our surprises in week one and some of our disappointments here.
Sure thing.
I'll start off with you. Who's someone that really jumped out to you that surprised you this past week?
The way Michael Thomas looked in the second half. First half, he didn't do anything. He had a goose egg in the first half of that game, but the second half, he looked like the old Michael Thomas. And if that's what he's going to look like from here on out, he's a steal for what his ADP was.
Absolutely. I mean, he didn't do anything in that first half.
No,
but I don't think Jameis and him really it didn't seem like they got a lot of time in training camp working together. So it took that second half really to make some adjustments. And the fact that he was the red zone target, the end zone target, made me really giddy because you and I play in a lot of leagues together, and I own a bunch of Michael Thomas. He was someone that I was really, really big on going into this season, and it looks like so far it's a little bit of a hit there for me.
Well, and he was being drafted as a lot of people's wide receiver 3. So
or like a flex or something. And,
or wide receiver 3 flex option. Now he's looking like he could very well be a wide receiver 1 if that's if that keeps up for him.
Gosh, imagine if he finishes as a wide receiver 1. I mean, that's a league winner.
Absolutely.
This year.
what you were able to get what you were able to get him for in the offseason, he was a steal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's right now. He looks like an absolute steal. I grabbed him everywhere I could get him. Speaking of a steal, man, boy, I'm telling you, I don't know what I'm drinking here. Gypsy something, a caramel apple cider. I don't know.
Is that Gypsy cider?
It is.
There you go.
It is.
That's pretty good stuff.
It is delish. I'm not going to
probably really sweet.
It's got a little tart to it, so I think there's enough little tart to where I don't think I'm drinking something awful sweet. It tastes like kind of a really, really sour caramel, or like a sour, like a green apple in a way. And then you get that little bit of sweet caramel kind of aftertaste.
You've been down to the Barrel House?
Mm-mm.
It's actually a pretty cool place.
Oh, well, we'll go hit it up. We will go hit it up. God, that stuff's good. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to go back down there and get more of it. They only sell them in like a 4-pack. It's a little disappointing. All right, moving on. Let's somebody else. Ooh, Saquon. Woo-hoo-hoo. Oh, my boy Saquon. Did he not look great?
He did.
He looked. I mean, that's the best he's looked since his rookie year.
Yeah,
no argument there. He had some burst.
He looked healthy.
Oh my gosh,
looked good.
Oh Lord, have mercy. He looks like people have brought him in as maybe an RB2. I mean, here's another guy that could possibly finish as an RB1 and kind of claim that throne again.
Yep.
Catching passes. I mean, he was featured in the offense. And looked absolutely fantastic. I love what I see there, and I own a lot of Saquon. I'm really, really loving what I see so far there. Who's someone else that jumps out to you?
I have Antonio Gibson down there. It looks like they're going to use him in the way he should be used. I mean, you talked about this either last week or the week before about he needs to be used in kind of that Deebo Samuel type role. And that's exactly how he was used on Sunday.
You're exactly right. He needed to be used like a wide receiver turned into a running back.
Yep, which is what he is.
Exactly what he is. And that's what they did. They utilized his strengths. They got him in space, and he produced.
Well, and the good thing there is Washington has 2 of those guys. So they're interchangeable. Him and Curtis Samuel. Mm-hmm. They're basically both the same. Yeah, so if you use them the proper way, you're able to get those guys out in space and they can just go.
You're absolutely correct. I mean, that he looked great. I mean, what was it? 2 weeks ago, he was the friggin' water boy, according to a lot of reports out there, and people were freaking out about him. And I will have to admit, I was one of them. I don't own much of him, but in the places that I had him, I was trying to move him as much as possible. I hated these reports. And then you had the Brian Robinson was coming on. And I mean, a lot of signs were pointing to get rid of him. I did get an offer of Elijah Mitchell straight up for him in a dynasty league that I happened to turn down. Thank goodness. So yeah. Hey, what about our boy Cordero Patterson, man? This guy's like 50 years old. And he's
still getting it done.
This guy is amazing, man. Amazing. Speaking of that kind of wide receiver turn running back role, he might be the OG. You know what I'm saying? So,
which is crazy because in college he was a very good wide receiver, very productive wide receiver.
Yep, and a great returner.
Great return man.
I mean, really, you were looking at him, he was brought into the league really just primarily as a returner.
Yeah, well, because he couldn't run routes. He got to the NFL and just couldn't run routes. So they had to figure out something for him, and then he goes to Atlanta and becomes a running back. It's killing it.
They had no choice.
Yeah, killing it.
They didn't. They had no choice but to go there with him. Love him, and I don't see anything changing. I see him picking up right where he left off last year, and he did. And you talk about someone you were getting at a steal, an absolute steal in drafts. No one wanted to touch the guy.
Well, and he became the workhorse the other day because surprise, surprise, Damian Williams went down.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. That's someone that I'll be cutting on a few of my dynasty teams that I picked up. So I got a place in my heart for Damian. Yeah, it's another thing. It just sucks. All right, who else? Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz, man.
Oh yeah, Carson Wentz, man. Yeah, what do we expect from him moving forward?
That's kind of the thing. You don't know. He can look like an MVP candidate, and then he can look like he doesn't know how to play. So you don't know what you're getting from him. He was a complete surprise the other day because you look at what he looked like last year, and it was terrible. Matter of fact, ever since he came back from that injury from a few years ago, he's been terrible.
Yeah. But the thing is Washington brought him in my opinion, because their team fits his strengths. That's my thoughts there. Terry McLaurin fits what he's really capable of.
Yeah, and Dotson, having him as a downfield threat is pretty good too.
Absolutely, Dotson was great. Man, it was nice. I mean, it was good to see, and a lot of people. Here's another guy that's sitting on the waiver wire. I mean, I can't imagine many people that picked him up unless they're in a super flex league.
Sure, well, a super flex league is probably already owned, but. In a 1 QB league, if he keeps playing like this, he's playable.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's still a little weird to roll him out as your every week starter.
Sure.
But if you're that Trey Lance owner, that Matthew Stafford owner, some guys that had a little questionable week ones and, you want a little insurance policy, I think it's worth maybe going and grabbing Carson Wentz if he's on the waiver wire.
Yep.
So. It's another. So I'm trying to think here. Who's any more surprises that really jump out to me? Nothing. I mean, there's plenty of guys that did really, really well, and we're not going to talk IDPs. I think I'm going to do that tomorrow night. We're going to be rolling out our first episode of our IDP show, and we're going to have a special guest, Gary Davenport, on with us from NBC, and really Bleacher Report. I mean, you name the website, and he's a part of it. So. Really excited about that. So we're going to go over some IDPs tomorrow night. So let's talk about some disappointments. Some guys that really jump out to us that kind of crap the bed that we had high expectations for. And I'll tell you what, I am going to
start this one off.
I'm going to lead this one off because I'm going to have to just eat shit on this one. And that's Cam Akers. You and I talk all the time, and I have been a Cam Akers guy all off season. I never took a break from him. I was grabbing him everywhere I could get him. He's got incredible talent on an incredible offensive team and touchdown opportunities like crazy. And he didn't play hardly at all.
Well, did you see him in pass pro? He was.
No, I was too busy crying. I was too busy yelling at my television and
he was actively running away from blocks. Like he just wouldn't even attempt to make any contact with anybody. So you can't have him in there.
Yeah, he's going to have to make some adjustments because he is just a superior talent and he needs to be in there. I mean, there's just no getting around it. He needs to get his butt in there. I think he's a better running back than Henderson, but the way that game went, they were trying to grind it out. They were trying to keep the other team's offense off the field. So they're trying to control clock. We'll see as the season goes along, but my prediction of Cam Akers finishing as a top 8 running back looks like that may not be happening. So, that was a big swing and a miss right there for me. What's a disappointment for you, big guy?
Well, it's comes with kind of a caveat. Trey Lance, he didn't look good, but that was just a horrible game for anybody to look good in. It was nasty. It was wet. It was storming.
Yeah.
It was gross. So I don't know if you can really take anything away from that game. Nobody looked good in it.
I'm not going to. I'm going to just chalk that up and just wad it up and throw it in the garbage. I don't think there's anything we can really take away from that game. There's no need for it. There's no need to deal with that. Not at all. So let's just.
It was a gross game. Yeah.
Anyone that's a Lance owner, just just lick your wounds and move on.
Better monitor it too. I mean, another guy that I was extremely disappointed in because I have him in a couple leagues, Aaron Rodgers, just did nothing. Did nothing.
Yeah. I think he's my quarterback. I believe in the Warrior Bowl or something like that. And boy, he really, really let me down. He let everyone down.
Yeah.
I think better days are coming for him as well. They've got, he's not gonna. This isn't gonna last long. They'll get it figured out.
Well, it also didn't help Christian Watson just basically that long pass that would have been a touchdown.
Oh, Butterfingers there.
Yeah, right through his hands.
Yeah. That would have changed some things around for him there, certainly. So, yeah, if you're an Aaron Rodgers owner, it's unless you've got just another kick-ass quarterback. I mean, you're not benching A-Rod; you're going to roll with him.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate that he and Trey Lance kind of let us down this week one, but better days are coming for both players. Your boy CeeDee Lamb there in Dallas. I expected a lot of targets for him, and there was a little bit off. I mean, there's some drops there, and now no Dak for several weeks. Even though now, didn't Jerry come out and say that he thinks that Dak will be only miss about 4 weeks?
He thinks he'll be back sooner than 4 weeks, which is why he's not putting him on IR. I don't see how that's going to happen. I mean, he's having hand surgery, for crying out loud.
Yeah. I mean, that's being overly optimistic. So, we hope so. I own some Dak, and I've got to scurry around the waiver wire tonight and go grab a stud like Joe Flacco or something. Just to fill.
I was really happy in one of the leagues we're in together where I had Dak as a keeper. I also drafted Matt Ryan, so at least I got Matty Ice that I can plug in there.
Yeah, that's good. Not that Matt Ryan did a whole lot, but yeah, it's better than having to hit that waiver wire and grabbing something like a Cooper Rush or something. Yikes! So. Let's talk about some guys that really just crap the bed and put up some goose eggs here, man. Who do you want to start with? Devonta Smith, Cole Kmet? I mean, luckily we don't have Tim, Lazenby on with us tonight. He was scheduled to be on, but unfortunately he's under the weather, so we're hoping he gets better. But he's a Cole Kmet guy. And
well, with Cole Kmet, it's kind of the same boat as Trey Lance. It was just an ugly game.
It was.
You really can't take much away from it. Nobody did anything in that game.
I mean, it was a friggin' monsoon.
Yeah.
Nobody
did anything.
I'm surprised that Baltimore put up the points that they did because they were playing in a rainy game. It wasn't the craziness that Chicago game was, but it was still rainy and ugly. There was a lot of drop passes in that game. So
they were squeegeeing water off the field.
Why? I mean, I don't even think that would have done any. I mean, 5 seconds later, it would have just been nasty again. Now Devonta Smith, on the other hand, that was a big disappointment. That was a surprise, man.
Especially with how good, I'm not gonna say how good, but with the effectiveness that Philly moved the ball. AJ Brown was a monster, and Devonta Smith did nothing. 0 catches. I'm not even sure how many targets he had, but it wasn't many.
I'm not sure how many he ended up with. It was a lot, but he was a man amongst boys out there. I mean, he looked phenomenal. He had 10 catches for 155 yards. Right. That's it. That's all.
Devontae Smith didn't do anything, though. He had 0 catches.
Yeah, he did nothing. He did nothing.
He didn't have many targets either.
Well, Jalen Hurts, he completed 18 passes for the game, and 10 of them were to A.J. Brown.
Yeah. I showed you where he's going. And Goddard had a few catches too. So where the target's gonna come from there? Because it's very obvious AJ Brown's gonna get his share. Goddard's gonna get his share.
Jalen Hurts did. He completed 18 passes, but he attempted 32 passes. So easily some of those could go. I can't imagine Devonta Smith not getting his. So they'll make some adjustments there. It was a close game with the Lions. So I don't know if we can really rely on Devonta Smith. I mean, it's going to be hard to roll him out there next week as a starter unless you're in a league that starts 3 wide receivers or something like that, and you got no choice. They're going to be more of a premium. But if you have the luxury of maybe benching him, picking up some of these guys off the waiver wire, something like that, that might be something to consider.
Yep.
So yeah, that's really unfortunate the way, because I'm a big fan of his, but AJ Brown definitely got all the love. So yeah. Anyway, so talking about all these guys, our disappointments, our surprises, things like that. Let's talk a little bit before we hit the waiver wire stuff. Let's talk a little bit about some guys that maybe after week 1, okay, the dust is settled, the smoke is cleared. There's some questions that we needed answered, and they're answered now. So who are some guys that you're buying right now? Who's some guys that we're selling? Whether it's redraft, whether it's dynasty, no matter what it is, some guys we're really targeting. Let's start with you. And who is a guy that you're looking to go grab? Mind you, let's not, pay a premium price for them, but who's someone that maybe you're targeting, over the next week, to try and pick up, maybe via trade or something like that.
If anybody's looking to get rid of Antonio Gibson, I'm your Huckleberry. It's in my way.
Okay. And what's funny is I'm on the other end of that. I'm selling him high. I think, Brian Robinson's coming back. Everyone was freaking out about Antonio Gibson over this, probably the last 2 months. And now you're telling me we have an opportunity to maybe go and sell him and get, I don't know if you want to call it top dollar, not yet. Maybe after this week 2, if you still have him and he puts up a similar performance, I think you can get top dollar for him. And I think it's a great time to sell him. So if I have him in any leagues that you and I are in, you and I may talk here. We might get some offers going there, but I certainly get, listen, everyone could be a deal. If someone's trying to move off of him and you can get him cheap still, someone's like, maybe someone will take him off my hands now, and you can get him at a good deal. Why not buy him? Everyone's worth something. And if you can get him super cheap, then yeah, go grab him. But I'm certainly selling him. I'm probably not going to do it this week. I'm going to wait and see if he puts up some good points after week 2. Especially when people have these injuries, your Elijah Mitchell owners, things like that are really hurting at running back. Maybe it's someone like me that was really relying on Cam Akers. Maybe those are the guys you can try and go sell to. So, but no, I get it. Who's someone else you're buying?
Robbie Anderson. He was the top target for Baker Mayfield this past weekend, and he looked pretty good.
And this guy looked like he wanted out of Carolina,
And it's Robbie with an IE. It's not Y anymore.
Interesting.
He spells it with an IE. Yet he had a whole Q&A about it with reporters about why he changed it from spelling with a Y to an IE. He said he just likes the way it looks better.
Interesting. Yep. Looks good. I'll go with that. I could put a little heart above the I.
Yeah.
To dot my I. Gotcha. But no. Robbie Anderson Robbie Anderson had a great game. I've got it. I'm in a couple of very deep dynasty leagues that I have him in. Golly, I don't know if I can play him this week. But if I have some injuries, I think I did have an injury to someone, so I'm really having to consider him. I can't. Oh, Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, I have to bench, and I'm looking at possibly playing Robbie Anderson in that spot. So, fingers crossed. We'll see how that goes.
Well, and the crazy thing was, before this past weekend, Robbie Anderson was probably somebody you would have looked at dropping to pick somebody up on the waiver wire for.
Dude, he's still on the waiver wire in so
Yeah.
many leagues. There's so many leagues, shallow especially, or redraft leagues. Ain't nobody got him on their team. Nobody's got him on their roster, but he had 5 catches, 102 yards, and a tutty.
Yep.
And, the touchdown was a long pass. Who cares? I mean, who cares how they score them? But, other than that, he still had 4 catches after, besides that big play. So certainly you're right. He was the favorite target. He was what we were hoping to get out of DJ Moore. That was Robbie Anderson. So
yep.
We'll see. We'll see if DJ Moore puts up with it because, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and he may not be a big fan of that. So they may purposely target, DJ Moore this second week, just to kind of keep him happy. So Robbie Anderson could be someone that could disappoint. So we want to keep an eye on that. But that is a good call. He's certainly worth a pickup on your waiver wire just in case. Miles Sanders. Holy moly, Miles Sanders scored a touchdown.
He was impressive, too.
He was. He looked good. He got a little chip on his shoulder, man. He ain't playing around, man.
I mean, he averaged over 6 yards a carry.
Detroit, but it doesn't matter. Those are grown-ass men out there.
They're still NFL players.
Yep, you're absolutely correct. I mean, had a heck of a game. Another guy that you could have totally gotten super cheap. And listen, somebody might want to try. I mean, listen, how many sleeper leagues and whatever we're in, how many people put guys on trade blocks today, just in the leagues you and I are in? I mean, a ton. And it's these guys. It's Antonio Gibson. It's Miles Sanders. It's people like Pat Freiermuth or Chase Claypool, guys like this that are, people are throwing them out there on the waiver wire just to try and sell high.
Yep.
And I get it. And you can sell them high, but if you can still buy some of these guys low and they're going to help your fantasy team, go pick them up. Go pick them up quick.
And Claypool is going to have a role in that offense.
You and I had talked about this many times. I was wondering if they brought in our boy out of Georgia,
George
Pickens. I thought they were maybe bringing him in to kind of phase out Claypool because Claypool was kind of on it was a little rocky situation last year. So I'm wondering Pickens was going to replace Claypool and they were just going to kind of phase him out. But certainly doesn't look like it.
Well, I think with Claypool, especially with Najee Harris's injury, they can really use him in a multitude of different ways. Where they can give him those jet sweeps. They can line him up in the backfield. They can throw him screen passes. And he's big and athletic enough to be able to do anything.
Yeah, didn't he even run the ball at one point?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, take advantage, use him. I mean, wear this guy out, especially if you don't think he's part of your future. I mean,
I think he had like 6 carries.
It's pretty well. I mean, is that not the trend or what, man? Cordero Patterson started something here, and now you've got, we've been talking about it off and on this whole episode. Is these guys that they're using this way, and why not
find guys with those Debo roles? Because that's
if it's effective, then by golly, do it. And
opportunity is key, right?
Do you think you can buy Pat Freiermuth? I mean, I know you've got him listed as one of your buys, but do you think you're paying? I mean, are you buying him at like top dollar right now? Because I mean, tight ends always so thin,
right?
And some guys are always, obviously several people probably drafted Freiermuth late in their draft as their starter, or maybe a backup. Maybe if you grabbed a Kelsey or an Andrews,
sure,
high, and you've got that luxury to maybe shop him, but. I mean, are you really shopping for him? I know you got him as a buy, but I think don't you think you might have to overpay for him right now? I mean, I don't know if you get him at a deal or not.
I don't necessarily think so because most people, like you said, if you drafted Freiermuth, it was probably as a backup. You're probably streaming tight end at that point. Gesicki, Freiermuth, Albert O, guys like that, probably in the same boat. So, I mean, if you drafted him, you're either streaming or you drafted him as a backup. So somebody who has him as their backup, go to them and see what they want for him.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help. I mean, it doesn't hurt going and, just prying and looking and seeing what someone would want for him. But a lot of those, I don't know, in my opinion, a lot of those people that drafted Freiermuth are like those, every league has that Steelers fan. And I think those guys targeted these guys. So I think you might have to pay a little too much to get him. But if you can get him at a discount, if you can get him at a good deal, I think he's an every week starting tight end for you.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up with 60, 70 catches this year.
Wow. Strong right there. That's strong.
Well, just look at week one.
Yeah. So who's some guys we're selling? I mean, I think we were kind of talking about some buys and sprinkled in a little bit of sells in there. But, who is someone that you are maybe you're looking to cash out on right now after week one?
My number one guy is Michael Carter.
You think so, huh?
I think so. He didn't get much, if any, love in the passing game. That all went to Breece Hall. And it's just a matter of time until Breece Hall takes over the running duties there too.
Yeah, I watched that game and he looked good, but Breece Hall looked good too.
Yeah,
they both looked all right. And so
Breece Hall was their receiving back. So if you're going to give a guy who should be a bell cow all those receiving opportunities as well, it's just a matter of time until he takes over the entire backfield.
Yeah, he did. He played well. He looked good. I think that he's just going to get more touches moving forward, especially in that offense with Flacco over the next few weeks being the starter. I think that he threw the ball way too much. He had to, but I mean, I didn't honestly. He had to in the end, but I don't think he had to. For the first half. I mean, it wasn't like they were down big or anything. So I think after seeing what Flacco has, especially with him being a check down Charlie. I mean, I've watched Flacco for a million years. He is a check down machine, and the guy that's going to cash in on that is Breece Hall. So certainly something to keep an eye out on. But I would sell. I agree 100%. Michael Carter, if you can go cash out on him, go find someone in your leagues that's really needing help at running back. Really go take advantage of that. Go grab you something that can help your team, whether it's a tight end, wide receiver. Maybe you bundle your quarterback and Michael Carter to upgrade your quarterback. Whatever it can do to help your team, use Michael Carter to do it.
Sure.
We were talking about Carson Wentz earlier. He's another guy. If you're in a one quarterback league, I don't know really if you're going to get much for him. But if you're in a super flex league, it doesn't matter who in the world it is. If it's a starting quarterback, he's worth all the money.
Yeah,
and if you can,
especially if you have him sitting on your bench, if you got two quarterbacks ahead of him, and you have Wentz as your QB3 on your bench.
Yeah, it's true. If he's your bye week kind of quarterback, yeah. Go sell high. Go grab, sell him and go grab like a Geno Smith or something like that.
Not only that, but here's a secret. In a super flex, you don't have to start a quarterback. You don't have to start another quarterback.
You don't. I mean, I believe. I mean, as a matter of fact, in a super flex league that you and I are in, I had Zach Wilson. I put him. I had to play someone in my super flex.
Yes.
A running back, wide receiver, something like that, and I still kicked your ass. So,
sure.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, thanks for that. The other league, thanks for Rashad Penny for not doing anything in the second half last night because I lost to you by 6 points.
Well, I gave Rashad Penny a call at halftime, and we had a talk.
I could tell.
We discussed things, and I threw him a little money. I threw him a little cash on the side. Like, listen, man, this is serious.
It's called collusion, by the way.
Is that? Yeah. That is a good. That is definition of collusion. Yeah, yeah. So I'll tell you. Darrell Henderson. I mean, we're talking Cam Akers a little while ago, and I was screaming from the rooftops, from the mountaintops, from anywhere I could be to go grab Cam. But Darrell Henderson, was the unquestioned featured running back in that offense. Are we selling him?
I would. I'd sell him because it was like you said, Cam Akers has superior talent, and kind of the same thing with the Michael Carter, Breece Hall situation. The guy with the superior talent is going to end up taking over that role.
Yeah, the cream rises to the top, always does. And if LA plays subpar for another couple of weeks, they're going to have to make some changes. And Darrell Henderson's not really a home run threat. He's not. He's just a grinder. Yeah. He's a guy. He's a between the tackles grinder. And
he reminds me of Sony Michel.
I mean, really, you're right. You're right. So, I mean, there's certainly a use for him, and he looked pretty good the other night. However, is that going to win you football games? Is he any kind of a threat to break one off and take it to the house? Absolutely not. Cam Akers has that ability. So, just like we were talking with the Michael Carter, if someone in your league is hurting at running back and you can go sell high, cash out, Darrell Henderson's certainly a guy. I agree 100% that's someone we want to go out there and maybe try and, get top dollar for him right now. Running backs are worth all the money. And if someone played well, go do it. Go to the Cam. I mean, if someone in your league's the Cam Akers owner, go to that guy. Darrell Henderson. I mean, that Cam Akers owner's hurting. That Cam Akers, owner is, trying to figure out someone to grab off the waiver wire, whatever it is. Go send that. Go negotiate with them right now. Go talk to that guy about Darrell Henderson, so they can lock down that backfield.
Hey, everybody who's in a league with Bob Miller, there was some subtext to that. He wants Darrell Henderson.
You know what? It's going to be funny. I wonder how many Darrell Henderson offers I'm going to get because, dude, I mean, I own Cam Akers in probably 80% of my dynasty league. So, yeah, I would probably could see some. I'm wondering if my phone blows up here in the next few minutes with Darrell Henderson offers. That'd be kind of funny. Who's another guy you're selling, big guy?
Jarvis Landry. I'm going to kind of capitalize on the big game he had the other day, and kind of move on from him, especially since Michael Thomas really came on in the second half of that game. I think he is the unquestioned number one wide receiver there. And here over the next couple of weeks, I expect Chris Olave to take over that number 2 role. So I'd be shipping Jarvis Landry out.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that, man. I really
capitalize on the big week and get rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, if you can sell high, you know me, you and I are big time in the trades. Whatever league we're in, we're trying to make deals. Sure. And I'm certainly a dynasty businessman, to say the least. So if I can cash out and make money on him, I'm great. I'm doing it. But I really like what I saw from him. He was the favorite target there. Yeah, he might not be.
I don't know how long it's going to last for him.
Who knows? But I think he sustains this. Jameis is a gunslinger, man. Jameis throws the ball, and I mean, any of those wide receivers in a Jameis-led offense has always shown some value. And I get it that Michael Thomas was your end zone guy, and that's exactly what he is. But there's plenty of targets to go around when Jameis is playing. And to have someone, Jarvis has never been a touchdown machine. His value's not there. He's always been exactly what the hell he did Sunday is exactly what he's been his entire career, a reception guy, a PPR machine. And I think
that's why I'm selling high on him right now.
If you have him, if you have him, but I think he's sitting on the waiver wire a lot of places.
He may be.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, he's sitting out there. He's a guy that I'm targeting. If you're that Keenan Allen owner, if there's some wide receivers out there that really let you down that you're counting on, I certainly think that I mean, yeah, they may phase him out in the next few weeks, but I think over the next few weeks, he's going to do exactly what he did on Sunday and have several receptions
Well,
and, and be that.
don't forget, you also have the PPR machine coming out of the backfield and this guy right here.
Yes, you do. You do, but he didn't really do much. Really,
didn't in game one.
No. I mean, Alvin Kamara is Alvin Kamara. Don't get me wrong, but Jarvis had seven catches for 114 yards. That's Jarvis. He's not going to get 100 yards every game, but I mean, if he has 5-6 catches for 80 yards, 75, 85 yards, perfect.
Sure.
Hell of a, that's decent wide receiver 2 numbers, certainly wide receiver 3 numbers, or if you need help in your flex, it gives you some flexibility there. That's the reason why it's called the flex.
You know what? You just made my pitch on why I would sell him. So if I'm selling him to somebody, that's exactly the pitch I'm using.
If I can get a good haul for him, I'm doing it. If I own him, I'm holding on to him for a little while. Now, I am keeping an eye on Olave. If they start really putting, if you see Jarvis's numbers kind of dip a little bit, that's certainly something to keep an eye on and maybe try and sell him there. But I think he's got some value right now. So if you can buy him at a good deal, go grab him. If you can get him off your waiver wire, certainly grab him. He's definitely one of my top targets on the waiver wire this week. But yeah, if you can sell him and sell high on him, if you already own him, you got him for absolutely nothing. So you're going to come away with making nothing but a profit.
Yep.
So certainly keep that in mind. If you already own him now, you weren't getting him to count on him. He's just a bench stash that you were hoping did something exactly like this in week 1, maybe week 2, and then you can sell high on him. So congratulations.
Exactly.
If you own him, go knock yourself out and do exactly what you hope to do. So
my point exactly.
Yep. That's a good point there, Tom. Let's see. That's probably the only guy. I mean, anybody else we're thinking? I mean, your boy Dalton Schultz. I mean, what are you doing with him right now with Cooper Rush taking over?
I am selling him based off name value right now.
Do you think you're getting much for him? I mean, people are looking.
You're still going to throw it to somebody, and he is a very good intermediate, short to intermediate target. So, I mean, he's probably going to be the most trusted target on the Cowboys right now.
That's what I'm thinking. That's the reason why I'm not sure about this. Cooper Rush is a lot of times, that tight end is a quarterback's best friend. That's that security blanket, over the middle of the field.
Exactly. So you can get a lot for him right now.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if you can get a lot for him right now because I think people are like, oh, Dak's hurt. Cooper Rush. I don't want anything to do with that Dallas offense, any of those pass catchers, anything like that.
Well, kind of what you're saying, you have to be a salesman with this.
Mm-hmm.
Make your pitch, explain why he's a good value, and then capitalize on it.
What do you think he does week 2? Do you think that he puts up decent numbers? Cooper Rush is going to him?
Probably very similar to what he did the other night.
Then maybe it's a wise idea to go ahead and sell him then. Sell him this time next week.
Sure. Okay.
Let people put their mind at ease. But there again, if you're the Dalton Schultz owner, you probably drafted him to be your starting tight end.
Right.
And so if he does put up pretty good numbers, week 2, you may not want to sell.
But your backup tight end is probably somebody like a Dallas Goedert, who's going to give you, similar.
You think so? Because Dallas Goedert and Dalton Schultz were getting drafted really they had pretty similar ADPs. So unless you grabbed them in back-to-back rounds, I would think if you're a Dalton Schultz owner, maybe you have Hayden Hurst or
well, either way, Hayden Hurst, going to give you similar production too. So
absolutely, yeah. There's some guys out there, and then we'll talk about a couple of tight ends. Now that we're talking about tight ends, we can talk about some guys that we're looking at as far as the waiver wire here.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking, we'll just stay with that tight end. We were talking about Hayden Hurst as a decent target to go grab off your waiver wire. I own a lot of Hayden Hurst. I wanted to kind of get ahead of the game. But what's some other tight ends that maybe you're looking at there on your waiver wire? Are you throwing some money on OJ Howard? Do you think
OJ Howard?
I mean, do you think that that's sustainable? I mean, obviously he's not going to put up 2 touchdowns a game, but that kind of blew my mind, man. That was a huge surprise for me this week.
Sure. I mean, he was involved. He's also in one of those situations where they have to throw it to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it can't just be Brandon Cooks every pass play. So they're going to have to throw it to somebody. So, him, Brevin Jordan, somebody's going to be involved. So why not OJ Howard?
Man, I really thought it would have been Brevin. I've been high on him this offseason. I mean, not like he had really put any money into him or put any real, effort there. But I really thought Brevin would be that receiving tight end. I thought OJ was really there to be more of a blocker. So I was a little surprised with that. I'll tell you a tight end I'm going out and looking at. I mean, I've got him in a few leagues, but Gerald Everett, with the Chargers.
Tyler Conklin's another good one.
Yeah, Conklin. I watched that game, and he was the red zone target. He got the one and only touchdown that they had real late, just garbage time. But don't let that touchdown really get you, hot and heavy over Conklin. They did. Flacco at the helm, they didn't really target their tight ends rarely at all. Corey Davis, of all people. Corey Davis was the one really getting a lot of the love. So that's certainly someone, sitting on a lot of waiver wires that, listen, I watched Flacco, and that's who he went to. That was his guy. Now, Garrett Wilson didn't play very much at all. But man, when he went into the game, they got him the ball. They didn't put him in to just run around. They put him in and threw the ball to him immediately. And the moves that he put, I mean, he's very
dynamic.
Stiffy. What's that?
He's dynamic.
He really, really, really looked awesome. It was a rainy, nasty game, and he still was making incredible moves. I really, 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 really like what I saw out of him. So I think they're going to work him into the offense more and more and more. But right now, Corey Davis was kind of a favorite target. I'm not grabbing Conklin unless I'm just really, really desperate. But someone like Gerald Everett, I am. I mean, he got 3 receptions. I mean, there was only a handful of guys that got more. I mean, there was 2 guys that got more that had more receptions than him, and that was Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler.
Yep, and Allen's gone and Keenan Allen's not playing this week, and neither is Donald Parham.
Exactly, Gerald Everett's. They brought him in to do exactly that. I mean, he is a receiving tight end, and he's a good route runner. And he had 4 targets. A lot of people had 4 targets, and he was one of them. So Justin Herbert's spreading the ball out, and with Keenan Allen missing some time here, there might be, I don't know if Jalen Guyton or Josh Palmer or someone like that. I think Palmer probably benefits the most from that. But Gerald Everett's someone I'm definitely going grabbing. I mean, with tight end being so weak and you don't know what you're getting, I tried to be ahead of the curve and grab him in a lot of leagues, and I'm glad that I did right now. It looks like this can be him throughout the season. Not a touchdown every game, but those 3-4 catches for 40, 50 yards with a touchdown sprinkled in there. I mean, that's very, very useful.
So another tight end named Will Dissly. He played really well last night.
Yeah, how many targets did he have? Because didn't they have that other tight end that did pretty well? Yeah, I'm going to look at these stats here. Look at this box score, but I don't think Dissly had a whole lot of love. I mean, he had 3 targets and he had 3 catches, for 43 yards. So
in the touchdown.
Yeah, he made the best of his opportunities there, but and this Colby Parkinson had 2 catches with one of them being a touchdown. He had only 2 targets there, so that's a hit or miss. I don't know if they're really going to get the volume.
Well, it looks like they're going to throw it to their tight ends.
Yeah, but you also have Noah Fant. Noah Fant.
You do, but I mean,
he had 3 catches and 4 targets. So yeah, I mean they've got some tight ends all over the place there. So who knows what's going to happen, week to week there with those guys. Who's someone else you're looking at on the? I mean, we talked about Jeffrey Wilson. I would imagine right there that Wilson has to be probably the number one waiver wire ad this week.
Sure.
And I really like Jarvis Landry as a great waiver wire ad as well.
Yeah, Jarvis, if he's there. Jarvis, Jarvis is kind of a bigger name, so I'd be surprised if he was on the waiver wire. But if he is, he definitely needs to be owned. A couple guys, you got your guy in Baltimore,
Devin Duvernay.
Yeah, Devin Duvernay.
Yep.
He's probably going to be a pretty big priority ad this week. Kyle Phillips out of Tennessee. He had 6 catches. Stat line's crazy. 6 catches, 66 yards. Don't mind the 666 there. It's he's still legit. Greg Dortch. He got a lot of love from Kyler Murray the other day. A lot. Like all those short passes were going to Dortch.
Yeah, Jamal Williams looked like he's still something.
Yeah. And he had volume. He had 11 carries.
Yeah, and I think another guy you have to a sneaky one is pick up someone like Jaylen Warren out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Jaylen Warren. The other guy in San Francisco, Jordan Mason. Kind of, if Wilson's already picked up, think about picking up Jordan Mason.
Yeah, Kenneth Gainwell. Gainwell's a guy. He's rostered in a lot of leagues.
Yeah,
but,
Gainwell should already be owned.
If he's still there. Hey, what about our boy Rex Burkhead? I mean, how many people really own him?
Yeah, he's probably worth a pickup, especially if you got a deeper bench.
Gosh almighty. I just feel nasty even saying that.
Yeah. Curtis Samuel. If Curtis Samuel is on the waiver wire, pick him up.
Yeah, certainly, definitely. If he's sitting out there, by golly, go grab him. And we've talked about guys, Carson Wentz, Jameis Winston, and Gerald Everett, and guys. Robbie Anderson. A lot of these guys are on the waiver wire. Hayden Hurst, if he's still out there, go grab him. Trying to really think of some guys to really target. Devin
Dontrell Hilliard.
Yeah, what in the world happened there? Yikes. I mean, Latavius Murray signed today with the Saints for the 50th time. But they have, there's some, I think Kamara's got maybe a rib issue. Mark Ingram looked really bad the other day. So I think they're
bringing. He's 36, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in his low 30s, man. Yeah. He's
another guy to pick up, Khalil Herbert in Chicago. He looked a lot better than David Montgomery did the other day. I'm not saying he's going to take Montgomery's job, but he's going to get his carries too, I think.
Yeah. There's a lot of good guys there we've talked about. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that jumps out to me. Man, I think we went over them. I think we got them. I'm going to save the IDP stuff for tomorrow night with Gary. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot of good guys to go and grab. Just don't overreact, I mean, I don't know about the Dortch guy and stuff like that, but don't go dropping all your fab on someone like Jeffrey Wilson. And, I mean, he's probably the number one waiver wire ad, but don't go crazy over Devin Duvernay. If you can get him at a good deal, but don't go dropping all your fab on these guys.
Sure.
Let's not get out of hand. OJ Howard, come on. Like your average player, don't do anything stupid there. So, anyways, we got anything else, Tommy? Man, we just went over an hour. We're about an hour and 4 minutes. I think that about wraps it up. We don't want to put people to sleep or anything. So,
I'm sure they were asleep 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
We're just rambling at this point.
Yeah, they probably were. I'm going to be asleep before 2 awful long. I'm going to get on here and work on some things, and if I keep drinking, then I won't make it too much further. So, well, all right, man. Well, good show, good stuff here. I want to thank everybody for watching the show. Again, make sure you go and check us out check out our website over at dynastyprosfootball.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, or if you get an opportunity to go check us out on YouTube, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It helps us out tremendously. So, for myself, for Tommy Harvey, again, we thank you for watching the show. Tune in next week, Tuesday nights, every night, 7:30, 8 o'clock or so. That's when you can find us. You got any questions, feel free to hit us up on YouTube. We'll answer them live on the air. So thank you again for watching. You all have a blessed evening.